in the Pledge of Allegiance.
That's what it is.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Cook, would you do the invocation, please, sir?
Sure, thank you. Let's all bow, please. Father, we're so grateful today for this beautiful day that you give us, Lord. I'm grateful for these officials of this town, Lord, that will come together tonight in one mind and one accord and love one another and love this town. And Father, that you guide and direct us, Lord, in our path that we might go, that at the end of this day, we can say it's all good and great. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Alderman McNeil, if you would call the roll, please, sir.
Alderman Johnson. Present. Alderman Jules John Cole.
Present.
Alderman
Here.
Alderman Leo McNeil. Present. Alderman Lee Temple.
I believe we got a quorum,
That has nothing to do with the Robert's rules.
and,
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. You cannot deny the man's First Amendment rights.
I didn't say that. Let's straighten that up. I did not say nobody be not allowed to do that. You misinterpreted me.
Board, we will,
He can speak on anything he wants to speak about, but I'm
That's right.
saying,
Board, let's get back on our business at hand. Mr. Glenn, you will be able to speak, okay? I'm sorry, I wasn't planning on putting this on the agenda because, I was gonna wait, to put you on the agenda later on, not tonight. And so I apologize that, it got to this point.
No problem, but it was kind of turned in on somewhere around about the 4th or somewhere this month. So I just want to be aware, want you to be aware that she supposed to have stamped it. Matter of fact, she specifically told me that she did stamp it the day I turned it in.
Well, I don't know what you want me to say, I've done told you,
It's okay.
I knew about it.
It's okay, no.
And
Yeah,
so
you
at this
know
time,
Okay.
on our
You're
old
over.
business, do we have a motion to approve the, August 26, 2024 regular call board meeting?
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All right, got a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, those in favor of such motion do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. And board, on this minutes here, this old business, there was a correction on our public hearing. It was an address correction, I'm about sure,
Think so.
that Alderman Lynch had pointed out, and we got that corrected in the minutes of the past minutes. So we just put it on there to let you know that that was corrected. All right, thank you. Our new business this time. Do we have a motion to approve the first reading of ordinance 2024-07? This ordinance is amending the ordinance 2024-04 of the City of Humboldt, Tennessee, adopting the annual budget and tax rate for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2024, and ending June 30th, 2025. So at this time, we have such motion.
we still keep the same rate, right?
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. All right, board, any discussion on this?
I said same rates, right?
Yeah, everything stays the same. It's just really approving.
So
y'all.
this amendment is for the food services at the high school or at the school? Is that what,
I'm sorry, Mr. Lynch,
is it the ordinance we're doing, 2024-07?
yes.
That's amending it with this change from the.
Yeah, okay, I'm talking.
School
Yeah,
food.
yes, is that right? That's the,
The federal funds and the cafeteria funds.
yes,
That we did not have back in May.
yeah,
Originally approved the budget.
that's right, and that added those two, so the, school was, we worked with them to get that added on it, and, so we're good, that's add those two. We did it last year too, they was having a little bit of issue, because they changed, on their financial director, so, yes, sir, that's right. So, any more discussion, board? If not, those in favor of such motion do so by saying aye. Those opposed, like sign. Thank you. Next, this is resolution. At this time, do we have a motion to approve the resolution 2024-03, a resolution authorizing the City of Humboldt, Tennessee, the partnership in a safety partner matching grant program? Do we have such
So
motion?
moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Now in discussion, board?
Can you go over this a little bit more?
Yes, ma'am. Chief Lencioni and Miss Alicia's been working hard on these grants.
We
and so-
applied for this grant and we received it. It's a $2,000 match for AEDs for the EMR program. So we have to spend a minimum of $2,000 to be reimbursed to $2,000.
And that's what you're buying is an AED or?
Yeah, they're $1,300 and some dollars a piece.
What's the AED?
That, thing they shock you with if you.
Oh, shot pads.
And Ms. Tammy, we don't have one of those at Bailey Park Community Center in the building. And as many people we have up there, we're considering putting one there as well. We have lots of people that, you know,
Be a good place to put it.
put one, and so.
Put them in all the parks.
We've got its location, you know, and so we're gonna start on that one. It don't really make any difference, but Chief and I have said, you know, we really need one at our park, so we'll be getting some more grants on that as well. All right, any more discussion, board? If not, those in favor of such motion, do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Thank you. Board, I sort of waited on Jake Winters, but he called, text a while ago late, said he cannot make it. And this is this was the redrawing or rewording of the west side drainage project. He got everything changed, unless y'all seen something, to address any issues on the west side drainage. And we will take a look at that. And at the last board meeting, we had a couple of things that needs to be changed. I think add number one, the city and stuff of that nature. So he cannot be here at the last moment. So if y'all want to just postpone this or look at it, or we can have an attorney to look at it and make sure it's what we was expecting, I will do that. So I'm sorry that he didn't call. Text me.
I just had a question about this construction administration. Says they will review construction submittals, shop drawings, and provide clarification of drawings and/or contractors' questions on an hourly rate basis. The contractor, we're gonna pay the hourly rate for them to ask questions?
See, that's why he needs to be here now. So we still got time. And so y'all want to just table this one?
I don't think, I got some questions.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, how much longer we got before we get started?
We got,
Seems like every time we bring this up, it's a hole.
Well-
Every time we talk about it, it's something. Every time we even bring it up about doing something like that, we do that, it's always something.
well, we've got,
We can't never come to the board and agree to let's get started on it and start working out the kinks as we get started. That's what, we need to do something.
well, just about there, and we've got time, Alderman McNeil. We do. The scope, just so the scope, y'all approve the scope between now and December, we're good. We thought the money was gonna be taken away by October, but that's, this money will, just so we got a scope set, and we'll get there. I think we'd be there tonight if Jake had been here. I really do, so, we'll get it, I assure you that. So, board, somebody wanna make a motion to table this?
I make a motion to a table.
All right, motion been made to table. I don't know if it's a proper procedure, but I think we're gonna get it tabled. So motion, do we have a second?
Come on, I said it.
All right, all in favor of such motion, do so by saying aye. Aye. Right,
Mayor, with one objection. Next time we bring this up, we get an up or down vote on it, one way or another.
I'm fine with that, Mr.
We get a vote on it. Ain't no sense keep holding it up, that's all I'm asking.
Are you willing to pay some contractors hourly wage for questions that they might ask the city of Humboldt?
Ask the mayor.
Are you willing to pay hourly rates for contractors to come in and ask questions? That's not the mayor's decision, that's the board's decision.
19. I'm not trying to be funny about nothing.
I'm not either,
It's
but-
been going on all year about this money, from the library to the dog pound. Every time we start talking about the west side, every time you come in here, it's just a little note right here. I asked for a tenure on it. That tenure only means that we can straighten this out and then bring it back, at least let them get started on some of this
This is
stuff.
what they
Let them
proposed.
Get started.
This is what they proposed, they've started on it.
Oh,
This
did
is
we,
what's proposed.
So I'm good, I'm good.
we got a motion and a second?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, all in favor of such, do so by saying aye.
All right.
Those opposed, like sign. I assure you that thing will be done, it'll just be history before we know it, guys and girls.
Thank you.
Up next, this time we have a motion to approve the June 2024 accounts payable report. Have such motion?
That's a move.
Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion, board?
I got a question.
Yes, ma'am.
On the municipal building where it says Princo advertising,
Printing and advertising? It's Humboldt Chronicle,
$4,000?
$4,695, that's for the Chronicle.
Okay.
Yes, that would be,
I'm sure it's advertising for bids and.
Right,
Even
and,
that?
it's,
yeah, I can, if you wanna come to the office, I'll give you a printout of that.
that,
That's what I had.
we try to participate in advertisement for the schools and different things of that nature. And, the police chief, advertisement might be part of that too, Ms. Tammy.
And like the ordinances.
Yeah, all the
that kind of-
ordinances.
That's really expensive.
Yeah, we have to pay for ordinances and all that, so.
But if you come by, I'll print it out for you.
Any more discussion, board? Ms. Tammy, you okay with that? Any more discussion, board?
Under the airport, under Marcel's janitorial services on page 2,
Yes, sir.
how often are they cleaning the airport?
Once a week.
Lynch, he's coming, doing a cleaning once a week. And, he's about to do a strip and, wax those floors and do a deep cleaning on the bathroom here coming up, any day now as well, so. If any of you all see that we're not getting what we're paying for, just let us know, but he is gonna go out and do a deep cleaning on the airport.
And that's once a week.
Yes, $75 a week.
Oh, it's $75 a week, so,
At
Yeah.
at the airport.
Yeah,
okay, so this 75 that says invoiced amount should be for 4 weeks and,
Well, let me check on that.
or did he only clean 1
Well,
week in,
No, I guess it is 75 a month for the airport.
Sounds kind of much.
Let me check on that.
okay. So he may be cleaning once a month, or.
yeah, he might be.
He might be.
Mhm.
Let me check on that.
Okay, board, any more discussion?
I got one, on the last page, in the industrial development,
Yes, ma'am.
Northwest Tennessee Department, what's that $5,000 for?
That's a grant, isn't it?
What grant?
LPRF grant.
What
no,
was the
that's-
question? I'm
Page
sorry.
4.
500,
That 5,000, is that our annual fee? The Northwest Development, Donnie Bunton,
where is she?
La-
What
is-
line item?
On the
Page-
last
page
page,
4, last
the
one.
last item.
And
Under
the
industrial
$2,500,
development.
$5,000.
5,000.
That was LPRF.
okay, I'm sorry, it is right
That was
there.
some stuff left over from last year that we had to pay. but it
Yeah,
won't go
on
in
the
the
park
expenses
grant.
from this year.
Wasn't that the last payment? Was that, we're through with that grant as well? Yes, we're through with that.
That was the grant at Bailey Park and
Yes, and that was the end of it. It's drug out since 2018, y'all, so it's, that is the end of that grant. I believe wound up 1.2, 1.4 million.
Now, there was $5,000 worth of Northwest Tennessee checks that were coded wrong, and they're actually for helping us plan for the grants and stuff like that. That's for the Industrial Development Board.
All right, Mr. Plow, if you don't mind, just explain those two, because they both got the same amount, but one's a LPRF grant, 5,000, that was the end of that. Then the Northwest Tennessee Development District, that was 5,000 as well. If you don't mind, just explain that one.
So, right here, what I'm looking at, I have it's called an account analysis, and it's where I took the 5,000 and took it out of that and put it back up in the 41100 accounts. And that is for, we pay the Northwest $10,000 a year, and so that 41110 account, I can't think of the last three digits, but it's that 300 state planning assistance. Which y'all have different papers than I do, but if you're looking at the statement of expenses, it's on there.
it's under what?
In the expenditure report under the legislative department, the very last line item, labeled 300, state planning assistance, there's $10,000 every year for the year. We usually pay it quarterly. And I think it got coded wrong. I've just been going in and reclassifying that.
It just showed up again.
No, I don't-
Are they both the
I
same?
don't know
They
what
are
y'all
the
are
same,
saying.
I think.
Both
Are you
both
looking
money?
at the check?
No, not the bottom, the very one down there.
They are the same, they're
They
a
are the same,
reflection.
yeah.
Okay, that's just the account total. That would be if there's more over here. That's the total altogether, 5,000 and then the total of 5,000.
Okay.
Yeah, total of 5,000.
Yeah, no, it's just one
It's just
$5,000.
a line item, and then the
And
total.
that's a payment we made.
I got you, okay, yes, I'm sorry.
Show 5,000 total.
Yeah, that's just the
Yeah.
total. If there was something else, it would have added that into.
That's my fault. The other 5,000 is the total.
It's, yeah.
All
Well,
right, Ms. Tammy, I hope that you understand that.
But I
That's,
took that after the fact and noticed that it was in that grant account and put it back where it's supposed to be, in the state planning assistance.
that LPRF grant is over, and everything looks good as well. All right, any more discussion, board? If not, those in favor of such motion, do so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, like sign. Thank you. Next up, we have a motion to approve the June 2024 Treasury Report.
Make a motion to approve.
We have- Got a second. Any discussion, board?
On page 2 at the bottom under permits revenues, transient permit review, this is what you have to have if you're a food truck,
Yes,
is that
sir.
correct?
Uh-huh.
Are we checking those, chief?
Would-
For permits?
Yes.
Whether they're already took care of by the city, they get a permit, if we have any issues, actually, Marquita and them asked us to go by and check them.
yeah,
Because we've got some
Once we
folks,
get a new one in, yeah, we usually go by and at least check them once.
we got some, well, there was two on 22nd that I called and talked to Miss Gina, and she checked them. They didn't have permits, they got them.
Yeah.
We've also had some people showing up on weekends, setting up and selling. and-
Right, there was some that we were trying to check in on. They usually leave us a note to people that they see that I don't always see. Patrol, I'll get with patrol, make sure we're staying on top of it a little better.
If we're missing any, we would
Yeah.
probably be missing 22nd, because all the ones on Central we've checked, because we've had some issues.
We usually post it up at the PD when we get a new permit. We print it out, they send it to us, we print it out and put it up. For the ones that are out and about that we don't know, Gina usually gets with me to make sure if she sees something we don't see, she lets me know.
Well, I just, I don't think it's fair if people own a business and they're paying city taxes and sales tax and all that, and somebody comes sets up in front of their
Not paying.
business and takes money out of the county and doesn't pay city tax or whatever, I got a problem with that.
All right. Any
We
more?
need every dime we can get.
Yes. Miss Gina's really been, well, we've had some call-ins and things on them, and we've had to address some of those. And I feel pretty good about it unless one sneaks in on the weekend. All right, board, if there's no more discussion, those in favor of such motion do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Mr. Matt Wood, you want to just come up to the front, please, and we'll look at this, discussion of financial statements fiscal year 2023 by ATA, PLLC, Matt Woods, and so just, I've got this as a motion board, but it's just gonna be a discussion for Mr. Wood to,
So we did the revenues and expenditures together?
We did mine
to
before.
discuss this, and Ms. Alicia and Mr. Wood, y'all got the floor.
Mayor,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Mayor Sykes.
Yes, sir.
All right, first of all, I would like to just say I thank you, because I want to know that it come to my attention 2 or 3 times, and it was brought up at a board meeting about this, and it was an ongoing situation. But I'm glad tonight it's resolved.
Yes.
Because we have always had, ever since I've been on the board,
This is
ATA has come
we
and
did the
explained
revenues and the
and break some of this
expenditures
stuff
together.
down, what we're dealing with. And I'm glad that the mayor and Melissa reached out and got y'all here.
Yeah.
I hope we certify the whole board, because from my understanding, a lot of them had a lot of questions asked. Maybe tonight we can
Yeah.
answer some of the questions.
Yeah, we come by invitation. I mean,
Yeah, and it was oversight on our part, and with Ms. Alicia being our new financial director, that's all it was. So we got him here quick as we could. So,
I live 8 minutes down the road. We can have coffee sometime and talk about it.
Yeah.
All right, so my name is Matt Wood. I'm a partner at ATA here out of Jackson. Been working on the audit for several years. The 2023 audit was an unmodified opinion, which means it's a clean audit opinion. What those words mean is that we believe the numbers are free of any material misstatement, which means big errors, or any evidence of fraud. We had 3 findings for 2023. I'll explain every one of them. None of them are a cause for concern going forward. Every one of them is kind of a timing issue, and I'll be happy to answer those questions. The only new thing that was included in these financial statements, and it had no effect on the city of Humboldt, but the standards added in something called GASB 96. The technical term was subscription-based information technology arrangements. Basically, if the city signed up for a big software contract, whereas used to that was just paid monthly, they wanted it now owned as a liability. Because if we agreed to something for a 5-10 year period, they wanted a reader of these financial statements to know we'd agreed to something for 10 years, that it wasn't just a monthly deal. Had no effect. We're actually able, any contracts under $100,000 in total, you're able to let those go. That's the state of Tennessee rule. We did have $7.27 million in federal grants. Now, remember again, 2023 has City of Humboldt, Humboldt Utilities, and the Humboldt City School System. So $7.27 million is all 3 of those entities combined. We did perform what's called a single audit. Anytime a governmental entity has more than $750,000 in federal grant expenditures in 1 year, we have to do additional compliance testing on the funds. Basically, most of the time, we're able to track down the revenue and the expenditure and kind of match them up and make sure that they make sense being reimbursed for. A little more detailed testing goes into it. That audit came back clean as well. There's additional letters in the back. City of Humboldt's had that single audit for going on some amount of time because of the school system, for the most part. That threshold is moving up to $1 million, but you can see there's a wide gap between $1 million and $7.27 million. So I expect y'all to be single audit for the next several years. I'm gonna flip a few pages. Obviously, it's a 140 some odd page report. I'm not gonna read every page, but I will answer any questions that you have. I'm gonna go to page 4. It's the management's discussion analysis. So in a city financial statement, it is only presented 1 year at a time. It's just the rules. If it's the utility system, whatever, it is presented comparatively, meaning I've got this year and last year. It's a little easier to say why this changed because two numbers are sitting side by side. City financials are not done that way. They are 1 year at a time. So what we get is called the management discussion analysis. We're able to actually compare them a little bit in condensed tables, answer some questions related to the big changes. The only thing I point out, the government's total net position, we call it fund balance when it's the general fund, net position when it's everything together, increased by $6.5 million compared to increasing by 7.8 in the prior year. Major reason between the 2 years is the schools obtained $7 million of operating grants or contributions in 23 compared to just $6 million or so in 22. So that's the major change between the 2 years, nothing else real big. If you've got it, page 7, I'm gonna look at just 1 second. I wanna point out a few different things here. So, in 22, we had a lot of restricted funds at the government level. Usually what restricted funds are one of two things. Somebody took out debt, hasn't spent it yet, or we've got funds of some kind of donation from somewhere that we've got to use for a restricted purpose. Restricted has to be from the outside. We can't just say it in here and make something what we call restricted. It has to be done from the outside in. So you can see some comparisons there. Restricted for the city and school system together was just $3.8 million this year compared to 8.9 in the prior year. So that let the unrestricted number rise to 4.46 million compared to a deficit net position last year. And again, that's not totally unusual in governments ever since 2014 when pension and everything else came on the financial statements and really brought everybody's numbers down. So again, assets are very comparable, 122 million versus 125. You'll see in a moment the fluctuation in the pension in 1 year. That's the biggest financial statement thing, not a cash thing though. Page 8, just flipping over a page there. The change in net position, which we'd call net income most other places, 6.45 million this year compared to 7.76 last year. Again, I probably said it this board last year that, you know, the last 2 or 3 years have been the most unique in my career related to grants. I mean, the ARPA funds, the state funds, everything that's come in since COVID, they've just changed the landscape a little bit. That, you know, we're on phones with utilities and other people all the time about, we got all this grant money, we got all these assets, and now like the utility world has started having to depreciate these assets, and it's just changed up net income. Well, you're getting a piece of that on this page. It's not cash, right? But this page will show the actual assets we're depreciating, the debt we're paying, everything else. Whereas when Miss Alicia quotes the general fund, it has the actual debt payment and it has the purchase of a capital asset. But on the general fund, you never see the depreciation expense. You never see the long-term debt posted. It's just the rules that changes the type of accounting related to the two. So you're going to continue to see major shifts over the next couple of years. As Mayor and Alicia said, as some of these grants wash through finally, ARPA's been hanging out for a few years now on us, but as these grants finally wash through and everything returns to whatever form of normal that is, in the next couple of years, see this change pretty significantly. Page 9, I promise I'm gonna start flipping major pages in just a second. Bottom of the page, y'all discussed budget and stuff already. In 23, actual revenues were $37,000 over budget amounts, and we just noted the major ones there. ARPA grant revenue was budgeted for $600,000. City, we end up receiving and expending $1.12 million in the year. LPRF grant revenues were exceeded by the budget by $372,000. As Mayor said, we didn't really have grant activity in 23. They got finished up in 24, but that grant was budgeted for then. Page 14 is the only number I'm going to give you that's not in your financials, but it's kind of our barometer a little bit of healthiness. of the general fund. You've got a lot that goes in your financials. I know you don't know it because it's the one you see all the time. Y'all's is a humongous financial statement, okay? So 150 pages. We've got cities that are as small as 40 pages, and I've got a few that are about 200 pages. But for the most part, that 70, 80 page range, you've got a school system, you got a lot of funds, you got a utility system, you got a lot that is in this version of your financial statements. So the general fund balance, $2.1 million there. We like to take that fund balance and do it as a percentage of what your total budget expenditures were, which was 9.86 million in last year. That percentage was 21.3%. Y'all hung at that percentage. I think it was 22% or 2 years ago, 20 some odd percent last year. You know, a very, very healthy city, meaning one that doesn't have to consider debt, et cetera, grants. We've put in that range of 20 to 25%. And I'm not quoting that number because yours is 21. If you've ever heard me before, I say the same percentages every time. If you're a municipality near the city of Nashville, but not in the city of Nashville, that percentage can be 80%. If you are small town USA, that is a very small municipality, and I don't include you in that, believe it or not. I live here too. That we don't, we have 8 to 10%. Ones that are really just property taxes, sales taxes, just enough to cover expenses to keep them a municipality and keep them moving down the road, okay? So very healthy percentage there. Don't have to consider debt for operations, that kind of thing. All right, we'll flip over a few pages here. One of the findings, we can go to page 28 so I can show it to you and explain it a little bit here. We were over budget in the general fund. We're required, if that's anything more than a few $1,000s, we're required to write a finding. So that was one of the findings. We were just over budget $67,000 or $66,000 on page 28. You can see it on the bottom right of that page. The major reason for that was just the ARPA grant. Okay, so the ARPA grant, we've done a blanket $600,000, I believe, for the last 2 years, and we received more and we spent more. We just didn't move it back and forth. Okay, there was obviously transition in accounting, different things related to those final ordinances. It's not one that stresses us out. Alicia and I have already had conversations related to 2024 budget, and we believe that's all in line. So that's the reason there. You can see $500,000 over budget, but you had the funds, you received the funds, revenues over by the same exact amount, only being over $66,000. So again, it's not something that concerns us, but we do have to write a finding for the state of Tennessee. Okay, I'm gonna run through a couple of pension plans real quick. I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time on it. The school on page 87, if we can go there. Okay, so we've seen since COVID, I believe we can say that the stock market has seesawed from one year to the next, okay? It's really bad in 2020, it's really good in 21, really bad, et cetera, et cetera. So pension plans follow that trend because they use the last year's stock market balances basically for the state of Tennessee, and that has the effect on the pension liability, whichever way it needs to go. Stock market's bad, the pension liability goes up, et cetera, et cetera. So we're going to just flow through these real quick. Page 87 is the pension plan for the school system. It's called the Teacher Legacy Plan, legacy meaning older. It is the plan that existed for a long time inside the school system. You can see in the prior year financials, that second line that says under 22, we had an asset of $4.84 million. That decreased down to $1.45 million. So that change of $3.3 million, it is not all run through the school system's income statement in 1 year. However, that negative impact that you see right there is over the next 5 years. So cut that $3.3 million, cut it down by in fifths there. So $600 some odd thousand a year for the next 5 years has to be recognized. So that's one impact on the governmental net position. Page 89, new plan of the school system. You can see it's not near the dollar amount. This has only been in existence in any capacity for about the last 4 or 5 years. It's existed for about a decade, but you can see there's only a few employees on it. went from $210,000 asset down to a $48,000 asset. And then the more common one to us, the TCRS pension plan here on page 91. Again, this is split between the various systems we have. This is the more common governmental pension plan. Year before last, it was a $2.47 million asset. This year, it was a $1.12 million liability. So again, $3.6 million swing in that liability asset. Again, cut it in fists. That has to be recognized over the next several years. And I will say, if you just look at I know you don't read this kind of financial very often, but there was net investment income negative of $1.34 million on $35 million of assets, okay? So that's not the city of Humboldt, that's the state of Tennessee's investments, that's the stock market doing what the stock market's done. So a negative this year compared to 7.3 million, so about a 20% gain in the prior year. Page 114, I just want to show you your debt schedule. Not really any of it. None of it is through City Hall. You got a little bit through the school system here. Small little addition in the water and sewer system of $23,000. That was really a correction of an old bond fee. That's why it looks so weird. But really we have paid just principal payments this year, $1.5 million, decreasing that debt. So no real new debt inside of 2023.
How much was the school debt?
In total, is what you're asking me? It's 2.597 million.
And the utility debt was?
Well, it's all the rest, but 21 million plus 1.5 million. One of them's a bond, the rest are no payables. That's why I separated them here.
So
21 plus 1.5, so 22 and a half, something like that.
22.5 million.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay, page 116 is where we get to your grant schedule, just showing it to you. Don't expect you to remember all these grants because there's about 50 of them here. Most of these are through the school. The school gets lunch and cafeteria, they get teacher, they get a lot of different small ones of $20,000 nature, so every one of them has to be recorded separately there. If you see that little dot sitting beside the number, you can see it's like a star. I know the print may be small. Most of our single audit testing had to be done at the school system. The school lunch program, all that testing came back good. The next page on page 117, middle of the page says COVID-19 Education Stabilization Fund, 2.6 million. We had to test those funds again at the school system. And your ARPA grant, let's see on page 1. Yeah, your ARPA grant, I'm sorry, was the last grant on page 116, 1.19 million. We had to test that grant as well. Again, all that stuff came back good. I do want to flip all the way to the back. I like being as transparent as possible as I can and explain what I can. So we did have 3 findings. One was a lack of reconciliation of capital assets. I will say already, I know that's been remedied for 2024 because I met with Alicia in the last few weeks, so that one has been remedied. Honestly, it was a transition in accounting and stuff like that. The capital assets for the city are pretty expansive. You've got all the assets you had. We added the assets at the bottom. We just had to assist a lot in that reconciliation process for that 1 year period. So our technical people required a finding related to that. Again, that's been remedied already. We talked about the 66,000, and the third one is just related to.
What was the second one?
The 66,000 over budget. We talked about the general fund, I'm sorry. And the third one's related to the data collection form. That's got to be filed by March 31st if we have grants. It doesn't do anything to the city. It just makes us test more whenever we get here. So we have to write a finding if that's not filed by 3/31 due to a lot of delays, different places. All 3 audits were delayed this year for various reasons. That wasn't filed by 3/31. But I'm happy to answer any questions.
And Board, y'all will receive this blue book later when we get all of it back from the
They
printer.
already got that.
We already got
We
it.
They
already
already got it,
They
okay.
already
Yeah, we just didn't bring it.
Just didn't bring it.
So that's
Thank
be
you,
filed
Lord.
by,
On tape.
All right, good.
3/31. It's
I
nine
looked
months,
at it
it's
on
9
tape.
months after the year end, or
we got
3
it.
months
That's
after the
my
audit's
fault, I forgot
issued,
it.
whichever's quicker. is the rule.
I wrote the pages down though.
I wrote all the pages down.
That's what I did.
I was okay.
Man, we always
At the end-
appreciate you.
At the end of everything, our balance funding for the city operation was how much?
You asking total city, or are you asking
Just
general
city,
fund?
just city, not school. I know you've had school system and that's gonna
right,
put
let
it
me-
in a different category, but I'm
Yeah,
just talking
let
about
me
the
do it.
operation from
Let me
the
do it that way.
city.
Yep. The city was 2.1 million, meaning the general fund, okay? That's really where most of our operations come out of. You obviously, I believe, also have State Street Aid. I'm sure you've got drug fund, solid waste, I think is a governmental here. I've got to pull to the back page, I just didn't want to search for pages forever. 2.1 million is what I would think you'd care about. I'm not saying you don't care about the other funds, but the other funds are restricted, have to be used for a certain purpose, et cetera, et cetera. We don't have the ability to go grab, State Street Aid funds whenever we need them. They have to be used for street purposes. So
So out of-
2.1 million.
The 2 million, that was left over out of how much? Out of 9 million, 10 million, 12 million? How much excess did we have
You're asking how much revenue you had in the
all
current?
together
Well,
for
that's,
the city right here?
okay,
The
so
city of Humboldt operate on what, 9 million or 10 million? Not schools,
let's say 9.5.
9.5
Let's do that.
million. So we
But
spent
that's-
7 million something.
Well,
That's what I'm
you
saying.
spent pretty close to all of it in that year. 2 million is accumulated.
Accumulated.
Okay, so it's accumulated over different years. 2.1 is ending. If you're asking me net income, which you may be asking, it was almost break even last year, but a lot of that's grant related. I mean, that's honest. I mean, when grants happen, you gotta spend the money. So, I mean, even when we get big revenue, there's big expenses chasing them, you know what I mean?
I got you.
But
that 2.1 million could include things like sale of land or sale of gas at the airport or,
sure, 2.1 is accumulated. It's other years. So you started the year with 2.13 million. You ended the year with 2.1 million, okay? So, I mean, we don't worry about net income. We worry about fund balance, honestly, because if you had to balance a budget, it's coming from fund balance, okay? I mean, we don't want to create tax revenue, et cetera, if we don't have to, all that good stuff. 2.1 million is our starting point. It's our piggy bank. I know that they used to call it rainy day funds. They used to call it a bunch of stuff like that. It's our piggy bank to where, you know, budget came up and we couldn't figure it out and we have to spend money over here. Fund balance is the one thing we are legally able to reach toward. It's not cash by any means, but we're able to reach toward it and use it as part of the balancing of the budget. So that's why we talk about it so much.
And that 2.1 million goes up and down. August is terrible. I don't know why
Yeah,
our
sure.
fund balance August.
Yep.
In September is terrible.
Yes.
Right now, we don't have 2.1 million, but.
So my speech is, the state of Tennessee, and this is a lot of, you know, Mississippi's 9/30 year ends instead of 6/30 year ends. The poorest a municipality is probably July and August. And why I say that is you're waiting on property taxes, right? When you get property taxes in, you're the richest you are. When you, before property taxes come in, the poorest you are. And we report financial statements almost at a city's driest. June 30th is pretty close, whereas it's different for a gas utility, an electric utility, because their summers can be amazing, right? So they can be their richest on June 30th, whereas a city has no option but to wait on property taxes till October, November, December. Great questions, though.
Everybody's sort of on a diet right now, department heads,
That's right.
till, we get some, till, we start getting the revenue in October.
I thank you for coming.
I like your coffee shop down here, so anytime you wanna come sit down and talk, I'll figure it out.
I thank you for coming, even though we didn't have our books, but thank you for coming.
Board, tonight or anytime, in the future that y'all want questions asked, please reach out to Alicia or Matt or myself. I can line you up with them, and she'd be more than glad, they'd be more than glad to explain this. I was fixing to say it's really simple, but it's not. And, the mechanism of it, is nothing new. We're doing it every year. So I thank all of my department heads too, while I'm here to, and, Mr. Leash and everybody to keep us on budget. Y'all passed that budget and we're doing a great job keeping it, where it's, supposed to be. And, we're no debt. I like to brag, the city side has no debt, but that's sometimes is questionable if that's a good thing or not. But anyway, I just want to thank all the department heads for all y'all do to keep this money, our money, where it's at. And we have to tell you no every once in a while, because like I said, right now we're on the low end of income. We might sold a stamp this week. And so, anyway, Matt, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, board. We got us a new fireman tonight. Chief Lencioni, would you bring this young man to the front? We won't make him feel too bad when he leaves here. So at this time, do we have a motion to approve the fire department recommendation to hire one firefighter, Mr. Miles Cunningham?
I so move.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion, board?
Man, I don't see too much of discussion with the young man. I met with him, I talked with him, me and Miss Julia checked him out, and the fire chief. I was very impressed, and he said he's gonna get him a haircut. So, I recommend the board to hire him. He already got some skills, but they're gonna help him get some more skills. So.
That's
One
it.
thing I forgot to put in his letter, he has gone through the Rutherford Junior Fire Department's
Yeah.
Go
program
through that, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and graduated.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they-
but I didn't put it in
Yeah,
the
we-
letter.
Okay.
I'll fix that.
Okay. Young man, you got anything you'd like to say?
No, sir.
Chief,
Where
you
you
got
from,
anything
Mr.
else?
May?
Ma'am?
Where you live at, Mr. May?
Dyer.
Oh, okay.
He'd be a good asset. He's already got some training, it's in the letter. He signed up for EMR starting in October, and he does his live burn 21st of this month.
Yeah.
I call for the question, let's
All right.
vote on the young man.
All right, question been called. Thank you, sir. At this time, if there's no more discussions, those in favor of the motion to hire firefighter, Mr. Miles Cunningham, do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Welcome aboard, young man.
Thank you.
And Chief, thank you for all y'all doing on your EMR. I'm excited about that. At this time, do we have a motion to approve the August 2024 fire report?
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion, board? If not, those in
I
favor?
wanna know about this, barbecue pit fire.
Where was
Did
it?
you get to eat, or?
Sam's Barbecue.
Oh, okay.
You don't know how hard it is to put that place out when that is the best smelling.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Just get you a sandwich while they're there.
That sounds like this box,
I just want to thank all the firemen. That's a lot of calls, 141 calls. I want to thank every one of y'all.
Yeah, so
Yeah, a
Y'all
lot,
been busy.
lot of medical calls, trying to keep the old trucks running on it, Chief. And
Oh, yeah.
up one day and down the next. But at least we had the air conditioners running good. So thank you. So any more discussion, board? If not, those in favor of such motion, do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Thank you. This time, do we have a motion to approve the August 2024 police report?
Make a motion to approve.
Got a second?
I'm second it.
All right, any discussion, board?
I've been busy too.
All right, yes.
Anything else?
Show them hands, but they're still busy.
There's no more discussion, those, if no more discussion, those in favor of such motion, do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Board, on this next one, last agenda item, I just put on there discussion of police chief. And I was, Mr. Dana Dean emailed me the same thing he did you all one day last week. And so The floor is open for discussion.
Mayor, I would make a recommendation to, there was some discussion came up, through the grapevine here that Mr. Dean was just looked in-house, tried to get somebody in-house because he thought that's what we wanted. Which I still want to give him credit. Said he did a good job doing what he did, 20-something, still got 20-something applications. I'm gonna act there with Taylor until we look over the rest of the applications and just see if he overlooked anybody as well before we start the interviewing process. Then that way, the board will have a chance to look at all the applications and make a decision if they wanna bring some more in for interviewing or not. That's what I'm putting to the floor, because there was some discussion about he thought we just wanted in-house and instead of out-house. So I think that needs to be cleared up to give everybody who applied or want the board a chance to look at the application and want to bring it back and do the interviewing with the people, but it'd be fair for the board to get a chance to look at all of them. That's how I feel. That's just my opinion. Don't make it right or wrong, it's just no opinion.
I never got the emails because they were too large, and Dana did send them back to me separate. And I know there's 4 candidates, and I know who those 4 candidates are, but I only got 3 of them's, resumes or whatever. And, Dana told me today, to check with City Hall about getting the 4th one, so.
Okay, cause,
I need to get the 4th one.
all right, board, so,
I got all 4.
you got all 4.
all-
Y'all
I
just,
got all 4.
I didn't see.
y'all just tell me what you wanna do and we'll move forward with it.
But my actual table, I don't know if the rest of the board wanna do it, that way it give Alderman Lynch another chance, then it gives us a chance to look at what the application says too, you know, if we wanna add some more to it, and just do one interview, however the board wanna do it, but I'm just throwing it out there.
Now, I did talk to Dana about the 4 candidates that he selected, and he said those were the top 4 out of all of them, and, that was his top 4, so.
What he told me, they were the top 4 local. And he said there were some other candidates,
Yeah.
but if we were gonna look at interviewing some of those, could be quite expensive for us, cause one of the guys was from Hawaii. You know?
Right.
And I'm like,
And
why would
that's
you
what
leave
I was-
Hawaii to come to Tennessee?
He said that was his opinion, so.
Yeah, and that's the reason I asked for a table, because that was his opinion, because we didn't give him a direction, and he focused more or less in-house than outside. That's all I was saying. That's all I was saying about it.
So you made that motion? to
Yes,
table?
sir, just table and look at them. Just see, it might be somebody else in there from around Jackson or Memphis somewhere. We don't wanna omit nobody, but we just went on his opinion that he thought we wanted in-house, so, and
Local.
no, I'm not mad at the man for that.
He said local.
Yeah, local, just local, so, I mean, we didn't really give him no direction, so he took it on himself to do it, so, I mean, I understand that.
So we got a motion.
Yeah, I put throw the motion out there to table, but
Oh.
5 people on this board, I mean, I don't know no other direction to go.
So we need a second.
But, Alderman McNeil, I'm
Yes,
just gonna
sir.
say one
Mayor.
thing. Do you feel like, Mr. MTS, Mr. Dana, did not do what we asked him to do? I'm just asking, I'm not,
He done what we asked him to do, man, we can clear that up, let's clear it up, he done what we asked him to do. He done that, but the slogan of, he thought we wanted local, and that's, to me, that's what I feel like he was focused on, just
Okay.
local instead of,
all right.
that's all.
Board, there's been a motion on the floor to table this, until, further information, or, y'all, somebody from the board can
So
just.
what is the table
The
to,
table, look over the other application, since Mr. Dean said he was focused on local, and look to see, and that way they still don't knock the 4 out that we can interview. It don't knock them 4 out. We still can interview them 4, but if there's somebody else involved, that we can interview them too. Interview the 4 plus, maybe a couple more might be in there.
so you're wanting to see the other
Yeah, see the other
applicants'
applicants.
resumes or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying, but the board got a right to make a decision on which direction they wanna go. Man, I just throw it out there, but for Dana Dean, he did his job.
Well, let me ask you this, because we got to give him a little bit of direction. Do you want him to bring back somebody or just turn over those applications to you all?
I was under the understanding that he turned all the applications over to the city hall.
I've got them, after y'all got the four, yeah.
You know, Mayor, you already got them, there won't really be no need to reach back out to me, I'm just.
Yeah,
saying
and that's me,
to
I'm
Mr.
just.
Dean, yeah,
I'm
we can
just,
reach out to you and get
whatever,
the ones
whatever
we-
y'all want, I can
Yeah.
make copies. I just want to get some directions before we leave tonight. Y'all want them? We make copies of all of them?
I don't feel like we have to reach out to Mr.
Or
Dana
y'all want
Dean.
Mr. Dana Dean to do it?
I don't think we have to reach back out to him. I think he done his part. I think he done it well. Let's get it up. I think he done a good job.
So you're just wanting to see all the applications?
Yeah, let's see them all.
Do y'all want-
The
y'all
only-
want
The only
each-
statement that was made in there is that he thought it was
I
in-house,
got
local.
you. And I'm
That's
taking,
it.
and I'm fine, if y'all each want a copy of all of them, I'd be more than glad to get you that. Is that what you're asking
Well, I can
for?
ask the board for a consent if that's what they want.
I mean, it'll be easy for us.
Alderman Johnson, consent,
Well,
want to consent to
I
that?
think we got a hiring committee, and why don't we just let the hiring committee look at those applications?
Just four,
The rest of them.
the rest of them?
The whole of
I don't
them.
have a problem with it.
Let them look at it, and then if they wanna put somebody else on the list, that's okay.
So they're gonna be interviewed by the hiring committee and not the full board?
I mean, it's whatever we want. If the full board wants to interview them, that's fine with me.
Well, I think the full board should be a part of this interview.
There's a stipulation with a full board being involved too now.
It has to be open to the public.
You gotta be open
Yes.
to the public, and you have to bring all that includes the public and different
That's
stuff.
why we got a hiring
But-
committee.
But you also got a committee that y'all set aside to do this.
Right.
So you can't buck the committee. It's still gonna boil down to the committee, whatever the committee wanna do about it. Now, if the mayor and the committee wanna open it up to the public, the board wanna be, I don't have a problem with that.
So
But it's up to whatever
if the
the
kid,
mayor and the board feel that's comfortable for everybody. We wanna make sure everybody get a fair shake, you know.
so if the committee interviews the four candidates, and then you're gonna ask this board to vote on those based on the two people who did the interviews? Or three people? Who all's included in the interview committee besides you and Ms. Coleman? Is the mayor involved in that?
Well, the mayor will gotta be involved. He would have to be involved. in this.
When they do one, if it's a chief, it's a chief, if it's, a department head, they just do it.
Yeah,
When we
mayor
do,
got to
when
be
we do,
involved.
when we do interviews, we sit with either Dan and Lencioni and Kel sit with us both. And we do interviews that way. We always sit with the chiefs.
So
But see-
if it's
but see,
with
in this
the
case-
street department, you'd have
We sit
Willie
with
there
Willie,
and.
yes.
In this case,
When we
it would
did the
be,
interview for the dog
Me and Miss-
catcher, we sat with Willie.
it would be me and Ms. Coleman and the mayor. The mayor would have to be, cause he's supervisor of the city.
I'm
He'd be over at the city.
I would
so
have to
that'd be-
seek out some legal advice, Alderman McNeil, if I break the sunshine law by setting.
No, you won't
I
be breaking
guess-
sunshine law.
No, and that's, I
You're
think,
vice mayor.
I think that,
No,
what about the vice mayor?
And I said,
No, we-
yes,
I'm
you the
saying-
mayor and vice mayor, y'all make a decision, I don't know.
Yeah,
Y'all
I mean,
do.
we doing the interviewing for police chief, I don't see why
Hey.
we be violating the law. Cause all we
think-
gonna do is do the interview and bring it to the board.
I think for a position like this, that we need, this is, somebody's gonna lead our police department, we need to know, questions or know about them. I don't think it ought to be left to two
Yeah.
to make that decision, then this board vote on it.
Well, this board can reject that too. What we do is make it and bring it to the board and explain ourselves.
But
I mean, that's
all
the
I,
reason you- now,
all
wait a
I
minute.
know about the
Before-
people or what's on that resume.
Right.
Okay?
But that's the reason you got a committee. You appointed a committee to handle this stuff.
We
and bring
appointed
it to
a
the
committee,
board.
I was under the understanding we appointed a committee to do things like firemen, policemen,
You gotta do it
street,
all.
whatever.
And you can,
It still got to come to the board. You can't overlook the board, it still gotta come to this board.
I would hate to vote no on somebody who I was just going by their resume and find out that they had a whole lot more to offer, and then I voted no against them. Or I voted for them and found out that they didn't work good with whatever police department they were with, or, I'd like to know more about the particular person that's gonna take that job that I'm gonna interview than what I got on a piece of paper and somebody else's opinions. I wanna make an informed decision.
So what
And
you
by the way,
saying-
I've got a set of questions here, possible questions
So what you saying?
to use.
Let me
or
get
look
a
at.
understanding ultimately. So what you saying, when y'all voted to appoint me and Julie to a
Just
hiring
pass 'em.
committee,
Pass them on down if you would.
let me get understand that.
I'll make
Y'all-
copies
y'all-
for everybody.
This board voted
Thank you.
for me and Julie to be on the hiring committee. Now, let me understand, let me get this right. You don't trust our judgment. The
No,
blame-
sir, I didn't say
No, wait,
that.
hold.
I didn't
Wait a minute,
say
you
that.
shouldn't have said nothing. If y'all voted for us to be on the hiring committee, and you sit up here and just said that you, when you, the one said no or yay, that's just like saying if we bring somebody to this board for you to vote on or something, you can't vote on because you ain't asked the question or you wasn't a part of it, but you don't trust the ones in charge of making those conscious decisions. That's really what you're saying.
No, sir, it's not.
Okay, what is you saying then? Explain it.
I just think of somebody that's gonna lead, okay? We need to know more about them than 2 people or 3 people involved in an interview session. We got 4 candidates. We agreed to interview all 4 candidates. You're wanting to table it and look at other recommendations,
I asked to
or other resumes. I'm fine with looking at
I
all
asked
of
to
them.
table it on the grounds of that there was a statement made.
I'm-
that he was with the surrounding, that's all he looked for. And I'm saying there might have been somebody else overlooked right there.
Mr. McNeil, I don't have any problems with that, looking at all of them, okay?
And them 4 might be the top. I mean.
But
he
if
said
you
them was
remember,
the top.
when we did the police chief, or fire chief, we all looked at all the resumes.
We went through
okay?
it.
Yep, and
We
we
done
were,
that.
we were all asked what our top 3 were, or we were told to pick our top 3. Nobody ever asked me what my top 3 were, okay? So I just think there's a little bit more to it than hiring somebody to work at the street department, or the police department, or the fire department, or the senior citizens, or whatever. I think this is more important of a job. I wanna make sure we got somebody that's gonna, I'd like to see our police department be accredited. I'd like to see our police officers get some more training. And I wanna know if whoever we look at or decide on, if they're gonna head us in that direction.
Well, if me and Ms. Cole brought a candidate to this board, at that point, this board will have that opportunity to address their opinion and their concern and ask that officer standing right here or sit right here. And if the board feel like that person is not the qualified person for it. they
That's
have
not
right
what
to
you
vote
told
it
me.
down.
You said that you ought to bring the candidate, you didn't say that I
Well, whoever
could
we
interview
select
them
or
here when they
whatever,
get here.
whoever we select gotta come back for
Well,
the
your
board.
table is to see all the
Yeah,
applications.
that's what
Let's
I
take care of the
expected.
table and worry about the rest of it once you get the table passed or failed.
I'll be glad to table if y'all ready for me.
We got a motion. We gotta
Got
have
a
second.
motion to table the, discussion about police chief. So do we,
Until we see the rest of the other
until,
applicants.
and, well, is that Alderman Lynch, is that,
Whatever his table is, I mean, that's up to him.
okay.
He's made the motion to table it.
All right,
We
a
need
motion's been
second.
made to table it, this discussion about police chief. So do we have such motion? Motion. Now, do we have a second?
Second.
This matter's just, tabled until further, discussion can be, discussed about, the hiring of a new police chief, so.
Mayor,
And, yes, sir.
please, just until we all get those other applications and look over them, and let's address at the next board meeting what we're gonna do about, the hiring, the process of it.
Yeah, and we'll have plenty of time.
Yeah,
We'll
that's
get
it.
that.
That's all.
I got,
Thank you. If ain't nothing on there, we interested in, I mean, let's interview the top folks.
Well,
You know, let's move on. I ain't
I've
got
got, Miss Selena's got them, she's got them on her. You've got all of them on.
Okay.
So we can pick up a copy of those?
Yeah,
or
give us a little
email it to
while,
us, or
because
what?
there was like, you know, she'll have to,
I'll give you a call when I get
yeah, you wanna just give y'all a call when y'all is ready.
So that'll be a copy of them?
A copy of all of them. Okay, thank you, Mr. Appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you, Mayor.
All is well. Alderman Lynch, I was gonna ask you about this here.
Just some possible questions.
Did Mr. Dana have any?
No.
He was going to,
No,
he said.
Mr. Dana had no.
And so
connection
these
with that
questions
whatsoever.
you'd like, or,
I gathered these from interviewing some
okay,
people who have been in law enforcement, whether it be TBI or
okay.
FBI or whatever.
All right,
The
board.
last page gives a little direction there
At the end of the email.
on the interviewer notes.
Yeah. All right, board, we'll move on to the next one here. Next one is a concerned citizen. Mr. Terry Glenn, you may approach the board and,
Good evening, Mayor.
good meeting,
Councilman.
Mr. Glenn.
I take it that you all did not receive my letter,
No, sir.
which was turned in well in advance. You said you just took the initiative, just take it off.
Just, this ain't a question answered, it's your turn to talk.
I just want to get that clear, just how important this is to you.
We can't answer any questions for you.
Okay.
Unless it was on the agenda.
It should have
It should
been.
have
I'm just telling you, according to
Okay,
the way it's
okay,
written.
no problem, Mr. Bennett. Okay, it's here, the topic is to extend a water main on South 17th Avenue further south from Baum Street to provide additional fire protection to the residents. I, Terry Glenn, the resident at 715 South 17th Avenue, has spoken to the Humboldt utility as far as extending of the water main and the installment of a fire hydrant for our safety. Humboldt Utility advised me to address the city officials, mayor and council, as for this project. I have researched the minimum distance between hydrants is about 300 feet. I was constantly told of the maximum distance from the Humboldt Utilities of 1,000 feet. That is max now, by the superintendent of the water department at Humboldt Utilities. There is not a hydrant located past Baum Street further south on 17th Avenue, and my place of residence is well beyond the 300 feet minimum, in which I have no fire hydrant within range. I am petitioning the board to have a hydrant erected for our safety as soon as possible. I don't know whether or not Chief Lencioni had went by and taken a look at this, or whatever. You hadn't even been informed about it as well, correct?
We're not, again, we're not
Okay.
able to answer questions.
Okay. That is my statement to the mayor and the city officials, due to the fact that over all those years that we have been raised up down there, I kind of look at it though, we didn't even have any kind of protection if we did have a fire. Thanks be to God that we didn't. Because I'm kind of wanting an impression where that fire hydrant is. I paced it off. And from that existing fire hydrant, which is the last one on this street, my house is about 400 feet from it. And I'm kind of concerned about what kind of pressure we would have gotten if we did have a tragic fire down there. That's up for grabs for sure, and that's which I noted. We need to get one down there as soon as possible, because we are well beyond the minimum range distance. And out of all the tax dollars that my family has been paying in this town, it's just a shame that hadn't been researched by now. It really is. You put all our lives in jeopardy. That is something you guys need to take care of as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Glenn. Board, at this time, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Mayor, may I say something?
But
Y'all you properly voted, I mean,
Why didn't you,
you made a motion and you made a second, and you didn't vote on the table.
We didn't,
Thank you, sir.
as I've got here, we didn't.
Yeah,
So we just need to vote on that motion to table.
so, as it's been pointed out to us,
Thank you, Matt.
I make the motion
All in
to
favor to
I make
table?
the
all in
motion.
favor of tabling such motion, do so by saying aye. All against tabling, say aye. We are adjourned, board.
okay, we had a motion by Mr. McNeil.
McNeil.
Do we have a second?
Ms. Porter,
Okay,
seconded.
thank you. I got it. All right.